Shabbat Shalom, everybody. This is Rabbi Stephen, Rob Shmuel with you with this week's 10-Minute Torah. I want to thank everybody for listening. And if you would, I received some feedback that the the speech part of my of these videos can be garbled sometimes or not clear. I am using an external microphone, so somebody suggested maybe using a headphone with a speaker with a microphone right there might be a little bit better. So if you have any thoughts, let me know. Let me know. I want to make sure these are understandable and you hear what I'm saying and love your comments. And if there's any critique, anything I can do better in making these, please let me know. One more thing, too, I'd like to remind everybody that Temple Shalom of Ontario is doing live services. Now, I know there's been some talk about COVID rearing its ugly head again, and in LA they're talking about wearing masks again. But for now, we are doing live services, and if you have not been vaccinated, there are some restrictions that we ask you to observe. But other than that, feel free to come to the synagogue. Not only that, but again, I'll reemphasize that in order for us to do a Torah service and do the reader's repetition of the Amidah and some of the other things that require a minyan, we are requiring a minyan. We need 10 Jewish adults there present in the sanctuary, or else we're not going to do it. So please do your best to attend personally. Plus, we love to see you personally. I've been here for about a year. I'm just passing my 1-year anniversary, and thank you to everybody who made this a wonderful year for me. And I hope I've done the same. And if I've not, if you have any suggestions, I'm always open. We try to vary the services with different melodies, kind of rotate the various psalms and prayers that we do. So, all right. Anyway. This is a very interesting portion, Vaetchanan, and it is the second portion of Deuteronomy. And we have some very interesting things going on in this portion, one of which is the repetition of the 10 Commandments or the 10 words, Seret Devarim. We also have the Shema repeated, and we also have the V'ahavta, the first paragraph of the Shema prayer that we do morning and evening, or evening and morning, I should say, since evening comes first. But Moses, once again, he is talking to a new generation of the children of Israel. Right? Now, some of these people were under 20 at the time of the spies when God decreed that this generation would not enter the land. But most of the people were not alive when this happened, so they're receiving a lot of commandments. A big kind of a redo, if you will, a big discussion, and there's also an additional 70 commandments that are going to be discussed in the book of Deuteronomy, because the children of Israel that are going to be taking the land are going to need those additional commandments when they get there. Now, of course, it all adds up to the 613 of which commandments, which we're familiar. But again, Moses is giving those particular commandments to these people now, because they are the ones that are going to need that when they settle the land. So, having said that, we have the repetition of the 10 commandments. Now, there are a few differences. The most notable difference is the fourth commandment, where back in Exodus it was Zachor et HaShabbat, remember the Shabbat. Now we have Shamor et HaShabbat, guard the Sabbath. Why back then was it remember, and now it's guard? The remember is sort of a positive commandment. It involves the kiddush, the wine, the joy, you have a day of rest, where you don't have to go out and work. But now we have Shamor, which is considered a negative commandment, to guard the Sabbath. And the implications, even though it doesn't sound like it's a negative commandment, which is do not, the implications are do not do any activity. Make sure that you restrict what you do on Shabbat to only observing Shabbat. Now, in the modern time, people have different ways of observing Shabbat. For me as a rabbi, I do a lot of studying on Shabbat. I completely immerse myself in Torah, and of course, performing the services, the Friday night, the Mariv, and the Saturday morning, the Shachri. And when I get home after services, I sit down and I do the Mincha, the Mincha Shabbat. I also read through the portion of the new week. Now, the portion of Torah changes after Shachrit service. So this Saturday, we have done Devarim, which is the first book of Deuteronomy. Afterwards, and from Saturday afternoon to the next Saturday morning, we have the new portion of this week, Vaetchanan. This is the portion, parts of which we read Saturday afternoon, Monday morning, and Thursday afternoon. So we have those 3 Torah readings prior to the reading on Shabbat. Now, of course, in our conservative Judaism, our conservative synagogue, we have decided to go with the triennial cycle. So the Rabbinical Assembly has divided the portion into 3 parts. So this year, 5781, we are in the second triennial year. We're doing what basically amounts to the middle part of each parsha. And next year, 5782, we will be doing triennial 3, and then 5783 will go back to the triennial cycle. Me, I like to read the whole portion. I do that for practice. I do that to understand the portion, for my commentaries and for my Torah study. So that's what we do on Shabbat. That's guarding Sabbath. For me, I also have some quirks, ripping toilet paper prior so I don't have to rip. And, some of that stuff seems a little kind of trite and kind of petty, real picky, kind of OCD. But one of the reasons I do it, besides the fact that I'm a rabbi and I need to set the example, is because these are the things that remind me that it is Shabbat, that it is a very special day, and it's my way of guarding Shabbat. I would also encourage all of you, do something that sets apart Shabbat from the rest of the week. Now, some of you, a lot of you, and thank you for this, by the way. I do want to thank all the people that show up for Saturday morning services. I understand that some of you are out of the area and you're coming on Zoom and giving us your time there. And I think that's wonderful. You're doing what you can, and that's really what matters. You're doing what you can to guard the Sabbath. So thank you, and kudos to you for doing that. Moses has also reiterated that he is not going to go into the land. And think about this. Not only is he not going to see the land, but he's not even going to be buried in the land. And he doesn't get to go into the land because of, he didn't sanctify God's name. And, when God said, talk to the rock to get water, he beat it. Also, he's not going to get buried in the land because when he first escaped Egypt and settled in Midian, the daughters of Jethro said, oh, this Egyptians rescued us from, at the well, and he didn't correct them. So that was kind of his, whereas Jacob did. When Jacob was in Egypt, never lost sight of the fact that he was a Hebrew. 2 other important things that are done in this chapter is the Shema and the V'ahavta. And again, these are very important commandments because basically what Shema does is it reiterates the idea that there is only one God. Now, other religions have a variety of gods, or different manifestations of the one God. But for us, the one God is the same God. That's the God of mercy, the God of judgment, the God that has given us all that we need. It's one God, but just different aspects because God is infinite. God doesn't need to have many different manifestations. We just need the one. I mean, as a parent, right? As you, right? Some of you, you're a parent, you're a father or a mother, right? You are whatever your profession is. Maybe you're a doctor, lawyer, clerk, nurse, whatever you are. So there's different ideas of who you are. Maybe you're a golfer. Maybe you like to play soccer. You're a soccer player. See, so each one of you, and we're all in the image of God, so we have different aspects of who we are, different things that we do. No reason why you need to split up and, well, I'm going to clone myself, and this clone will be the father, and this clone will be the person that goes to work. It's God, right? It's one God. And the ayin and the dalet in Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, the ayin of Shema is written large, and the dalet is written large because aid, we are witnesses. Also, Echad, and it's important to do that we don't say Acher, which means after, or that there are gods. We also have the Ahavta, that comes right after the Shema. It's considered, one big stream. And that is letting us know that, we give God our hearts, our souls, our minds, we adhere to the commandments, and we put the tefillin on, we put the mezuzah on to remind us, etc. All right, so Shabbat Shalom to you all. And again, I can't say this enough. Thank you for a wonderful year. May we have more wonderful years together. We do this, and I see myself as your servant, as a partnership with you. We'll build the synagogue. We'll have some good times as we start to come back in the synagogue. We'll continue to build it up. And again, let me know. Always listening, always interested in any critiques, any suggestions. Thank you.